guys, this is Animat, and welcome back to the Muppet Vlog. Now this time we're going to be looking into the 16th episode of the 4th season of The Muppet Show, which features Jonathan Winters. Now, in the world of comedy, Jonathan Winters is actually no stranger. In fact, he is actually a very influential actor and comedian who has actually won multiple awards, including an Emmy, a Grammy, and even the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. His career can be seen in numerous TV shows and feature films. Some of these actually include Mork and Mindy, Hee Haw, The Steve Allen Show, and also It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. On top of that, he has also provided the voice of Papa Smurf in several projects. Some of these actually do include the Hanna-Barbera Smurf series during the tail end of the show's history, or at least during the Hanna-Barbera show, like from 1986 all the way down to 1989. And he also provided the voice, which is actually his final role that he has ever done before he passed away, in the live-action and animation hybrid movies. Now, going into the episode that he appeared on The Muppet Show, it was actually quite fun to watch, honestly. Now, I just came out of watching the last episode with Anne Murray, and I'll be honest, that one kind of sucked. So, this episode really was a breath of fresh air. It was really entertaining, and it was actually a lot of fun. The big thing that actually happened was that a gypsy, right out of nowhere, actually set a curse upon the show. Nobody really knows why, but apparently there are some bad things happening throughout the show. More than usual, per se. Some of these would actually include that somehow acts are suddenly stolen, like they can't continue because what's supposed to be the act is suddenly not there and just taken away. Like, for example, there is, the opening number is Hold the Tiger, which is supposed to be this whole circus motif, and suddenly a lion came in to help out his buddy to just get out of there. Other ones also include, just the typical stuff like destroying the entire set when there's a performance going on, or like even backstage, there's a giant meteor that came out of nowhere and suddenly these aliens popped out of it, and they're just wreaking havoc throughout the show. And then right at the end, suddenly all the characters suddenly speak Swedish in the form of Swedish Chef. You know, like nothing too dangerous, but it is kind of fun. And at least they did go to the Swedish Chef kind of Swedish, because I'll be honest with you guys, I actually know that there could be some worse versions of Swedish that you might actually become. But anyways, yeah, honestly, throughout most of it, it's not necessarily musical, but it's more into the comedy bit, since Jonathan Winters is more of a comedian. And even his involvement is actually a lot of fun. His comedic style, his comedic tempo, like just his comedic brand actually does apply very well onto the Muppet Show, and it does result into some great scenes, like his moments where he would actually appear on stage, like when he would do a little props bit, when like he would be given by Fozzie like a few hats to do several routines, or some moments that we see him backstage, or actually like when we see him panicking about this gypsy curse. You know, like, he's definitely hilarious. You can tell that this is a guy that is well trained and like one of the few masters of comedy, and what he has given upon to the Muppet Show, it's actually really a lot of fun to watch. And especially another great thing that is actually as good as Jonathan Winters is actually the gypsy herself, where you actually see her do some mischief. And there was actually one moment where she does have a musical number where she would actually sing Golden Earrings with other gypsies, just having their time outside and, you know, doing their own thing while singing the song. And it was actually very nice. And honestly, like, some of the other musical numbers actually do work out, even like when the gypsy is actually involved. Like, not just musical numbers, but even like sketches where like there's just Fozzie and Scooter singing On Her Doorstep Last Night. It's just more of a common motif, like your typical turn-of-the-century song, but it's mostly Fozzie and Scooter behind the curtain, or not behind the curtain, but like behind them is the curtain, and then suddenly aliens just come in and they don't know what to do. And then there's also, like, you see the Gypsy screwing over a Muppet Labs bit, which, honestly, you don't necessarily need a Gypsy for bad things to happen to Beaker during the Muppet Labs bits. But other than that, like, the only thing that is not as memorable is, honestly, the finale, which surprisingly doesn't include the special guest star in itself. It's just a bunch of the bigger Muppets just dancing to English Country Garden. So much so, like, it's really forgettable to the point that even the show itself doesn't necessarily care, and it kind of wraps everything up where we see the actual reasons why the Gypsy wants to put a curse on the show and all that stuff, which, the whole reveal, if I can be honest, is actually pretty hilarious, and it actually wraps things up very, very well. You know, like, it gives it a great finale, like, a great punchline to all of this. So, honestly, it leaves you pretty satisfied with what's going on. So, it's not necessarily the final act itself that makes it great. It's mostly everything around it, like, what's going on during that time. So, I would say, overall, with this episode, it really is a lot of fun, and it's definitely one of the funnier episodes of this season. Jonathan Winters was definitely a great addition to the episode. Like, his comedic talents are greatly displayed here. The storyline with the cursed Gypsy, fantastic, and it results in a lot of funny bits onto this. Like, great storyline, which gives out great comedic material, so overall, definitely a lot of fun. And just a lot of the bits that do happen, they all wrap up pretty well. So I wouldn't just say that this is one of the funniest episodes of the season, but this is also one of the highlights of the season. I actually really enjoyed this episode, definitely a lot of fun, and I do highly recommend that you guys check this one out. If you're a fan of Jonathan Winters, you definitely won't be disappointed with this one. This is actually a lot of fun, and I do recommend it. So anyways, that is pretty much it with this episode of the Muppet Vlog, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see if the comedic talents will roll upon the next episodes. We'll see if things can actually get up from there in terms of the funniness, but we will only know until next time, so see you later, dudes!